Yo, every time I'm fired up for them props, I'm a glutton. Don't do this shit for nothing. So when you push the button, you know what to expect. Fuego, no discussion. Anybody talking down on the kids, you hush. I'm talking anybody. It don't matter who it is, nigga, they'll get body. Better mind they fucking biz, cause what I embody. Made a monster out of prayers for your mama, or your sis, for your brother, or your bitch, nigga. You ain't fucking with me now, eat a dick and die slow. Keep that energy forever, no changing up once I am on.
Yo, I had some stuff in mind to talk about, but my mind is kind of all over the place, so I'm just gonna do what I've been doing for the past couple videos and just wing it. So, first off, the last video I did, I was venting. I said a lot, and just to reiterate, I meant what I said, but because I was pissed off, I probably didn't say some things right or correct. But the main thing I want to touch on is like I was talking in the last video, I was talking about feedback. And you know, like I said, I'm sounding like a broke record because I've talked about that probably in like 3 other videos. And even before I started doing the vlogging thing, I was talking about it you know, in my songs, and sometimes when I would just make posts on Facebook. Now I've gotten to the point now where I don't make many posts about it, and honestly I try to refrain from bringing it up, because I know when I do bring it up, some people see it and they think I'm talking about them. Now there are people I'm talking about, but I have to, you know, make sure that I make it clear that everybody who has been giving me feedback, I do appreciate that. I really do. You know, my main issue is with people who, I guess, make me wait for so long. Because don't get me wrong, like I've probably said this before, I understand that people have things to do, because me and a friend were talking about that. I understand when people need space. And to interject something real quick, to kind of jump on another topic, I've always been a person that when I'm not in a good mood, I let people know. Like a long time ago, I used to text people like, hey, I don't feel like being bothered for a couple days. I'll let you know when I feel better. Now, some people used to get upset with me about that. Others would be like, all right, you know, just hit me up when you feeling better, and I hope you be all right, you know. But some of the people I know, the way they do nowadays is that they just ghost people. You know, they just go silent. Then they pop back up like they ain't been gone for like 2-3, you know, weeks or 3 months or some shit. Now, I know some people will say, you know, you don't owe anybody an explanation, but I feel like if we've been real close for years, you know, yeah, let me know when you're going through something, especially if you know how I do and how I've always explained stuff. That's the way I feel. You know, I don't really want to fuck with people who just disappear, you know, and then pop back up like they ain't been gone for a long time. You know, because you really don't know what's going on. And especially when they pop back up and still don't want to explain why they were gone. That's the one thing, too. Now, if somebody hit me up and be like, hey, sorry I hadn't talked to you in a while, but such and such had been going on, which I have gotten messages like that. And, you know, I do appreciate stuff like that. Because, like I said, I'm the type of person that will do the same thing. I'm not going to just, you know, disappear like that. Now, a couple days ago, I kind of disappeared, but it really didn't matter because nobody was, you know, messaging me or anything like that. But I was on one of my other Facebook pages where, like I said, I have a lot of profiles. And there's a page that I have where it's just me on it, nobody else. You know, well, me and my other pages. And I just go there and I just vent. You know, sometimes things that I don't want to record on a video, or, you know, stuff that I probably can't say on video because the video will be, you know, reported or some shit, or, you know, stuff that I can't even really say on my main page. You know, things that I get mad about. Like, I've honestly been really pissed off still about the whole Dave Chappelle thing. You know, because while a lot of folks might be like, there might be some gay people saying that they not upset over it, they don't care. And not just gay people, but even some trans people. But I've only seen a few trans people coming out in defense of him. Now, I've seen some other gay people come out in defense of him. And I'm trying not to really just say gay, but I'm trying not to say the whole thing. But, you know, anybody who watches this, charge it to my head and not my heart. But anyway, I've seen some of them come out and defend them. But for the most part, I've seen a lot of people who are hurt, especially trans people. And not just white folks, you know, black people, Hispanic, Asian. I've seen all of them because, you know, there are pages I follow and there are groups I'm in. Like I told my friends a couple, like a month or so ago, that I'm in this group on Facebook. And I'm in there, you know, to be supportive and whatnot. It's a group for trans people and people, you know, who, want to do that, you know. And so I'm in there with them. And I see the stuff that they say. And how this makes them feel, you know, even more in danger. And not always in danger of somebody hurting them and, you know, like physically. But the things that Chappelle said, which is something I had to understand even when I was defending J.K. Rowling a while back. Because I'm not going to lie, I defended her myself. But I was never going to call myself a TERF. That was a line that just really pissed me off, you know. I don't care if it was supposed to be a joke or even if he really meant it. I would never say anything like that. I defended Rowling based on the fact that I know that there are other women who feel the way she does. But I realize that when there are cisgender women who feel that way, you know, I'm only speaking on what I've been told. So I don't know everything about this. I'm not trans. I just know some trans people. I'm friends with a few. But, you know, I don't know in detail all of this stuff. I just know what's been told to me. So, you know, but what was explained to me a while back, as far as the J.K. Rowling thing went, is that what can I say? Discourse like hers, it's not the word I really want to say, but discourse like hers, the things she said, that can be damaging. And the same thing for what Dave Chappelle said. It reinforces, you know, negative stereotypes, beliefs, you know, it reinforces all of that different shit that people already have. Things that I used to think when I was younger, you know, stuff that I was raised to believe, you know, in a sense. And I've been rejecting that over the years. And some of it is still hard to let go of because, you know, I've known these things for so long, stuff we've been taught in school and things people in my family would say. But for the most part, you know, I realize, you know, that things change every day. Life changes all the time. Nothing ever stays the same. Like when people get to complaining about, like Demi Lovato, you know, calling themselves, you know, they, them, they. Those are the pronouns they want to use. And I'm making sure I do it right myself. But that is their choice. But people don't understand it because they're like, oh, them, they, their. That's plural. That's not singular, but that's not true. And all throughout history, like even before I was born, people have used they, them, and their, you know, when describing one person. Like somebody could this is just an example. Somebody could say, hey, have you seen Jonathan? I think they went in the back, you know, something like that. Some people would say that. Sometimes folks don't always say he. They be like, they came in last night, you know, and haven't seen them since. You know, that's the way some people talk like that about one person. Folks have always done that. I've seen it in literature. I've heard it in movies, on TV. Even, like I said, in my own circle of friends. We've always talked like this. But for some reason, when people start wanting to use it as far as pronouns go, then that created an issue. Now, I want to say that there was supposed to be this video was kind of more so supposed to be me venting, but then again, like I said, I mean, I am venting, but I'm trying not to be too angry because I have been mad the past couple days. I just have not felt right, and you know, it's like I told my friend Takina. I told her, you know, I took a break for a couple days. You know, I was gone for 3 days. The plan was really only to come back next week, but I wrote something and I went on and I wanted to share it. Now, as I said in my last video, I was saying that there are people that I won't share stuff with anymore, simply because I don't like the reply. And this is different from somebody saying they don't like something. This is somebody saying they like something, but then doing it in a really dry, boring way. And that irritates me to no end. Like, if somebody said they didn't like something, I'm cool with it. You don't like it? All right. You know, I can deal with that. But when you tell me you like something, but then you say it in such a dry way that it seems like you don't like it, I would prefer that you just say, hey, I really didn't enjoy that, instead of just trying to say something like you're just trying to make me feel good. You know, I prefer the honesty over somebody trying to tell me a comforting lie. You know, like I can deal with people saying they don't like stuff, because I've heard that a lot. I mean, people telling me they didn't like something and that something didn't sound good is what has made me work so hard. You know, I completely went back to the drawing board on one book I'm working on, simply because it was really only one person, but I did feel like that one person was the only person being honest. Now, some other people said it sounded like he was hating. Maybe he was, but it was enough for me to take a second look at my writing, and for me to realize that there were some flaws. And not flaws as much as how it was written, but, well, yeah, it's how it was written, but not in the structure. Flaws in the words I chose to use. Because, you know, I go through the thesaurus a lot. And I do this simply because I want to, you know, use different words than what I would normally use or anybody else would normally use. But of course, when you pick a word, sometimes it don't always fit in that in that way that you're trying to use it. You know, you use it because it sounds like it can go there, but then you realize, well, that didn't sound right. And then one time I was a little bit too descriptive, which I admit I can be too descriptive. I'm trying to shave all that down. Same thing with my dialogue, because normally my characters can talk because I'm inspired by characters having conversations, and I love the way, in particular, to give an example, I love the way Quentin Tarantino does dialogue. I love his movies. I really haven't watched a movie of his that I haven't enjoyed. There's another reason I like his movies, but I'm not gonna get on that right now. But anyway, it's like, I don't know why when I got to record, all of a sudden my nose started bothering me. It has not bothered me all night. I don't know, maybe I stirred up some stuff. But anyway, you know, I love the way his characters, they just talk, and they can talk about anything, but it's not boring. It was one movie, Reservoir Dogs, and they were having a conversation in the car. And I believe they were trying to think about they were trying to talk about Christy Love, I believe, but they couldn't remember the name of the show, or either they could remember it, or movie rather. They could remember it, but I think they couldn't remember the woman's name that played the character. And it was just something so small to have a conversation about, and something that probably wouldn't be that important outside of that movie. I mean, it wasn't even important to what they were about to do. But it's an example of how this dialogue can be written, and people can talk about certain things, and it can still be enjoyable. Like, and I like that, and I like to try to do things like that myself, because I mean, I have had random conversations with people, stuff that probably wouldn't be that interesting to other people, but you know, I've talked to folks about some of everything. If anything, it's one thing I've always been told, that I have good conversation. Now, of course, after a while, some people might have got bored with talking to me, and that's cool. But I know there are other people who still, you know, love talking to me, and that's also cool. But anyway, you know, I've been trying to shave down my dialogue in my stories and not do so much of that, because I don't want it to take away from the story. But then I also don't want to write too much story, I guess you could say. Well, no, that don't make sense. I don't want to take so much of the time just writing in kind of the third person all the time, so to speak. I'm still not really getting it right. What I'm trying to say. My mind is just like drawing a blank. But anyway, I don't want my stories to be a whole lot of dialogue, but I also don't want it to be where there isn't any dialogue or action going on. Where, like, some people have talked about that I still need to work on the action part. And I get what they're saying. But the main thing is that, damn, I swear this thing was just at 5 minutes, and now I'm almost at 16. I can talk. But anyway, I guess, like, the main thing, because it was my homie Ron that said this. He had said that, you know, there's nothing wrong with my dialogue, actually. You know, that's something I'm good at. But that I still need to work on, you know, mixing the action with that. And that's what I'm trying to do. Because, you know, there is action in my stories, but not, I guess, exciting action, so to speak. There might be things like people probably walking through somewhere, somebody doing something with their hair, messing with something on a table, you know, shit like that. Little minor actions. But I'm working on doing like bigger actions, you know, something dynamic, I guess you could say. It's tough, but I'm improving. Being asked to be part of this project by this young lady on DeviantArt, Project Zeus, that reinvigorated me, and I was so happy, you know, about it, and I was very, I guess you could say, touched by all the people that congratulated me on it. You know, because Ronald was one person that told me he was glad that my writing is being noticed. You know, he said that he's happy that that's happening for me, and you know, that meant a lot. I know a lot of people might be like, you know, because I've mentioned Ronald before in other videos. But like I said, back when I was in high school, and with me doing music, after doing songs with this guy named Jody that I used to be cool with, and I really only did one song with him. I didn't get a chance to do the other one, but when I came over his house, I didn't know that they were going to record that day, and so I had to try to freestyle something, and I sucked at freestyling, still do, and so that was a lot of people at school introduction to me as a rapper. And after hearing that, they wrote me off, because no lie, this shit was whack, and I was trying to rap fast. Then I said something very inappropriate at the end of the song that I thought was funny because of me listening to a lot of D12. But of course, nobody else took it that way, and they took it serious as that I would actually do something to somebody, but it was really just me saying something on a song. But you know, it wasn't something serious. It was, I mean, a lot of rappers have said it before, but of course, you know, even at that time, that was still a touchy subject. Everybody knew what the R word, you know, meant. And for me, I knew about it, but I didn't really know how serious it was. I was in high school. I heard something on a rap song, and seeing how they joked about it, you know, D12, especially Bizarre, and even sometimes Eminem, seeing how they would joke about it and use it as a punchline in their raps, I didn't think it was that serious. It wasn't until I got older and I really realized the severity of somebody being assaulted. But like I said, most people might say there's no excuse. You know, like I said, I was in high school, I should have knew. But that's not something my mother ever sat down and talked to me about. You know, she never explained anything like that to me. Nobody in my family had. Even knowing that I think it has happened to some people in my family, other family members, but, you know, not anybody I'm real close to, but I still think it has happened to some people in my family. But, you know, nobody ever really sat down and talked to me about, like, hey, this is what such and such is. This is bad, you know, blah, 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 blah. So that was something I had to learn. And I had to learn from the women that I met over the years, you know. And a thing that really made me start writing the stories I wrote was hearing how many young women have been assaulted. Some by people that they know. You know, I mean, family members. While others by, you know, other people that they know, or just going out on a date with somebody. You know, it's happened to so many. And that was what really sparked, you know, when I first wrote Till, that's what it was supposed to be about. It was supposed to be about, you know, well, that wasn't all it was supposed to be about, but the main character, Tremaine, his sister was kidnapped. He was on a mission to find her. And the thing about it was that she was going to be, was going to find out that she had been assaulted. And from there, I can't even remember now. Well, it was something I wrote back then, and I'm reworking it now. Because really what I wrote back then, I was just kind of writing in a stream of consciousness. And when I really went and looked back at the story, it didn't make any sense. But that's what happened. And that was also one of the reasons why I created Chantrice. And that her origin originally was going to be to something that happened to her. And that was what was going to make her fight back. But I decided not to do that. It seemed cliche, and that's the reason why I've kind of removed it a bit from Tremaine's story. And that what happened to his sister is a lot more serious than that. But, oh, excuse me. But anyway, you know, I went off on a tangent. I've been talking about Ronald. Like I said, when I was in high school, and with everybody feeling the way they felt about my rapping at the time and what they had heard, Ronald was the only person who still had my back. I mean, there was also my friend Percy, but Ronald was the one who really listened to everything I ever wrote. When I was actually making mixtapes on little cassettes, Ronald was on a few of those. He even gave me a tape recorder that I still have. I still have that tape recorder. Never lost it. I kept up with it. And we would record stuff when we were at school sometimes, you know, as kind of like in the middle. Because, like I said, I would record song after song on that tape. And I had like skits in between there. And one of the skits was something me and Ronald did. Because I would always put something on there like words from Ron. And that was something that we used to do back then, though. But anyway, that's the reason why when I ask for feedback from him, it really does mean a lot to me. And when he does congratulate me on something, it means a whole lot. I know it might seem strange to people to put so much on him like that. But that's just because, like I said, I never forget people who have always been in my corner. Even if we did get into it, and me and Ronald have gotten into it a lot. I mean, honestly, it was like a year and a half ago we really weren't speaking. And I had deleted him on Facebook, you know. And, you know, I talked to him and I explained the main reason I did it. Which is what I should have did the first time. But like I said, that was on me. Trying not to sneeze again. But anyway. You know, so like I said, I never forget people who are in my corner. And I appreciate everybody who has ever, you know, given me feedback. Anybody who has ever encouraged me. But I can't lie, what does bother me is when people who were always encouraging me or always giving me feedback change. You know? Again, I know everybody isn't going to like everything you do. I mean, there are a lot of things I've done I know Ronald don't like. And the same thing with Takina, you know? Excuse me. You know, I understand that. That's something I understand more than anything. But still, I never, I guess, how can I put it? Well, I guess just like I said in the beginning of the video, or whatever, I try to be, the operative word is try. I try to be considerate because I can't lie. Like I told Ronald, sometimes I don't really check on people. I don't ask folks how they're doing. The only thing I be wanting is feedback. And honestly, like I explained to Sonya, because I told her the same thing, I told her, I guess the reason I do that is kind of it creates a buffer, so to speak. And that way, if somebody does stop fucking with me, I can just write it off on the fact that they didn't like what I was doing and all of that. And that makes it easier for me to be like, well, that's why we're not friends anymore. You know? And I know Sonya, she said she understood. Even if it does sound stupid. Well, she didn't say that last part, but I could tell that in the tone. She was like, I get you. I can understand that. So, you know, that's the way it's always been with me. What I'm working on is the main thing that I focus on. And so when I hit people up, it's usually just about that. About what I'm working on. And I always tell people, you know, get to it when you got time. I don't rush people. But at the same time, if I have to wait, like I said, like a whole year or so, I don't even want the feedback. You know, and that might sound, you know, inconsiderate. Hell, it is inconsiderate. But that's just the way I feel. I just feel like by that point, I've passed by that. I don't want any feedback unless it's somebody new that has came along and then they come along and they giving me feedback on something old. But like, I don't know, just for me, like I said, it's I know that's fucked up to say, but that's just honestly how I feel. You know, nothing filtered about this. You know, that's just how I feel, and it's something I try to get over. Like I said, I try to be patient. I try to wait. But I just don't find myself waiting, like I said, 2 or 3 years for somebody to tell me what they thought about something I did in 2019. That's the thing. Now, I guess it could be different if maybe I was more established, I guess, and then somebody came around and like, oh, you know, I love such and such, you know. But I guess, like I said, to put this in that perspective, I'm really just talking about people that I personally know. Like folks that I don't really know and they come around out of nowhere or something and be like, hey, I read this, and I really enjoyed it. Are you ever going to finish that? Which I have gotten a message like that before. That's a different story. But for somebody I probably sent something to like last year and they still haven't gotten to it. And let me be a little bit more clear when I say this, because again, I understand people have other things to do in their lives. You know, nobody's life revolves around mine. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying though is that when people can make time for other folks, you know, or other things, and I get put, you know, I guess say on the back burner or something like that, well, of course I'm going to be pissed off about that. You know, because I mean, I see how some people act with other people. And even some of the friends I have will tell me, man, you know, don't worry about them, man. Just leave them alone. You know, they obviously, you know, you obviously not important to them. You know, so just fuck it. You know, and that's something I have to really work on and live, you know, learn to live with. There's some people I just have to leave alone. You know, I have to avoid. And I won't even say avoid. Because it's not like they fucking with me anyway, so I ain't necessarily got to avoid them. But it's just people that I just have to forget about. No matter how many years we've known each other, no matter how close we were. You know, operative word is were. I have to remember that people are not going to be around forever. And that maybe at this point in time in my life, it's just time to meet other people, new people. You know, because honestly, there are folks I've met in just... Well, there are people I met this year and people I met last year, but especially a lot of people I met this year that have become more, you know, of a friend to me than folks I've known going on like 10, 12 years. And I used to measure, you know, how important somebody was to me based on how long I've known them. But I realize now that, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've known somebody, because people can change. And like I said, it's common sense, but it's just something that I just really have to accept. So, because I still haven't accepted that shit. I still want to hold on to this part of me that still thinks that that person that I know is still in there. You know? But I have to learn to accept that that person I knew is gone. And hell, maybe they are still there, but they're just closed off to me. And for whatever reason that is, I'm probably never going to find out. I just have to accept it. Like I said, this video originally was supposed to be me ranting. I don't know, for some reason I got on camera and I got a little bit more overjoyed, for lack of a better term. I guess I really just can't stay completely mad. I mean, I have been mad. Like I said, I've been mad almost all week. I've just been stewing in my hatred. And even though people used to tell me it's not good to stay to yourself, it's not good to keep things to yourself, you know, you can always talk to me, I still don't feel like I can always talk to people about stuff. So that's why I do these vlogs, or I just write in my journal. And I've been in a lot of pain about a lot of things. Some stuff I'm probably never going to get over, at least not anytime soon. And I've been putting a lot of it into my stories. I'm sure some people can tell. But honestly, that's how I have that depth. And how my characters have emotion, because the feelings that they display are things I've felt or things I've witnessed from other people that other folks have felt. I've always been a person to wear my heart on my sleeve. Never been shy, you know, about displaying any emotion. The only thing I ever hated doing in front of people was crying. And that's only because I was raised to think that crying made you weak. You know, and even now, I still don't like, you know, crying around anybody. Despite it's good to get the cry out. Or it's good to just do that. Sometimes you just have to. Because we get so wrapped up in trying to be strong. I'm pretty sure this video gonna be cutting off soon, so I'm gonna go and stop this. I'll probably do a part 2 and say the rest of what I want to say, but until then, peace.
Yo, every time I'm fired up for them props, I'm a glutton. Don't do this shit for nothing. So when you push the button, you know what to expect. Fuego, no discussion. Anybody talking down on the kids, you hush. I'm talking anybody. It don't matter who it is, nigga, they'll get body. Better mind they fucking biz, cause what I embody made a monster out of prayers for your mama, or your sis, for your brother, or your bitch, nigga. You ain't fucking with me now, eat a dick and die slow. Keep that energy forever, no changing up once I